G'day guys, and welcome back to the channel. Today I'll be doing my tips for round 17 of the season, and we'll have a bit of a look at the top of the table. We've got Macca 0303 sitting clear on top by a solitary tip at this stage. So great work from Macca. Me personally, I got 6 out of 7, tried to get a bit of an upset in there, but it didn't end up really being an upsetting round. Always seems to happen after a week of upsets. So everything goes back to complete normal after that all happens. So such is the way of the season. But we're finally done with the buys. Thank goodness for that. 5 weeks is far too long. It should be done in 1 to 3 weeks, if that. Yeah, it's deplorable not having many games to have on in the background. Anyway, let's get stuck into this week's round of footy. So we've got top 9 versus bottom 9. Could be interesting. We'll see. There will be some upsets, I guarantee it. Not going to be 9 straight out of the gate. But we start off our journey here with North Melbourne on the Thursday night, and they're hosting the Western Bulldogs. Going to be pretty tough to see this going North's way. They went down to the Hawks by 85 points. After a pretty good month, 6 weeks in them, the Dogs had a pretty promising win over the Swans. That one was on the Friday night at the SCG. I think it was about 9 points in the end. I'm going to go the Western Bulldogs here. And by how much? Bulldogs by how far? Let's go 45 points. I think North will have a solid crack, but I just expect the Dogs to be far too strong, and they've been destroying teams in the bottom 10. So we'll see how that all pans out. Friday night, Carlton up against the Pies, and the world's been on fire down at Carlton, Icon Park, whatever you like to call it. They have lost their last couple. They went down to Port Adelaide by 50 points in a very disappointing game where we're expecting a response. Then we look over to the Pies, and they just keep churning over the wins. 34-point win over the Eagles at Marvel. After the Eagles gave them a really good challenge for probably about 3 quarters, and then the Pies just chipped away late. I cannot see Carlton mounting a challenge here. I think the Pies comfortably. We know that they can have a pretty close game, and they don't mind a classic, even when the later positions aren't compatible, similar. But I just can't see what Carlton are doing at the moment. Pies are just chipping away, knocking the wins over, and they just know how to get the 4 points. Very good record over Carlton as well. So I think the Pies will just continue on, keeping on. The Blues, I don't want to tip them ever again at this stage. This one's going to be a late one. We've got double header. All right, that's interesting for a Friday night. We've got West Coast hosting the GWS Giants. West Coast, as we just mentioned, they went down to the Pies by 34 points, but a really good showing. The effort was there. The endeavour and effort was on display for the Eagles. And then GWS Giants, I think they had a great win over the Suns. I think that's what happened. Yes, they did. Round 16. Yep. All right. 7 points in it. Very close indeed. So they were down by 29 points, I think, late in that third or at the start of the final term. They know how to make a crazy comeback happen. I think West Coast have done okay against the Giants at Optus in recent times. So I'm going to tip the Eagles, but really I'm going to tip the Giants. So I thought I'd just throw a curveball in there. Yeah, Giants should get the win. I think they're on a decent... they won 4 out of the last 5, and just making a charge that have to win this one. Eagles, they've been better in recent weeks. They've been pretty competitive, so they're having a good crack. Hopefully, they can keep on having a dip. Over to the Saturday games. I felt like I was on Sunday already. Essendon hosting Gold Coast. This one's at Marvel. Bombers, pretty sure they had the bye. Let's have a look. Freo, comfortable win in the end. So, I think that was must have been the week before because the Dockers played the Saints. Gold Coast went down to the Suns. No, the Giants. We'll get the Suns and the Giants mixed up sometimes, as on this occasion. I reckon Gold Coast should be able to get the chocolates here. They've got the Bombers later on in the year as well, which will be away from home for the Bombers. But yeah, I like a little bit more of what Gold Coast are doing. Bombers might have some troops back as well. Fair few injuries. If Gold Coast want to make the 8, this was one they have to win. Then we go to down the highway. We've got the Cattery and Geelong hosting Richmond. Geelong had the bye. Richmond went down to the Crows. It was pretty comfortable in the end. It was about 10 goals. They had their moments throughout the game. Geelong, we'll probably not have to worry about Tom Lynch after these escapades over the weekend. Should be fit and firing and fresh. Hopefully they come out breathing fire and get the 4 points. I think Geelong will win pretty well. Then we got Brisbane hosting Port Adelaide at the Gabba. Brisbane might have also had the week off as well. Port Adelaide 50-point win over the Blues, so they were comprehensive in that win and playing some of their best footy, putting the Blues to the sword. Have to go Brisbane though. They're at home. They're in a different league to Port Adelaide at the moment. As we can see, they're top 2 on, not fully on top of their game. They've had some fluctuating form, but they're kind of like Collingwood. They're kind of like Parkinson's Law. They'll do as much as they need to fill the gap of time that's available and allotted. They'll end up in a preliminary final at worst, and at best they'll win the premiership. So I've got no concerns about what they can do, and Port Adelaide away from home would be a bit too much of an ask. But I'll tell you what, I'll be barracking damn hard for Port Adelaide. Over to the other Saturday night game, we've got St Kilda hosting Hawthorn. This one will be at Marvel. The Saints went down to the Dockers by 12 points in a pretty competitive performance. Hawthorn, massive winners over North Melbourne. That one was down at Tassie in a really comprehensive performance. Hawthorn getting some ascendancy back into their season. The Saints very brave against the Dockers, but weren't able to find their way over the line over there in the West. I just think the Hawks have too much class, too much skill, and they're obviously on up a bit higher on the ladder, so that obviously helps out as well. Over to the Sunday game. Now this is getting really interesting. Sydney and Fremantle. Sydney at the SCG, and the Swannies went down to the Dogs. I think it was about 9 points in the end, as mentioned earlier in the piece. Fremantle had a good win over the Saints. They had to get the 4 points there. They found a way. They fell across the line. Oh, geez, the turf will be having a fair say in this match. Hopefully it's up to speed and all fixed up, or as fixed up as it can be. I'm going to go the Swans. I don't really like this tip, but I think, they've been really good the last couple of weeks. Got some stars back. Freo won their last year by a point. I think in general they go all right at the SCG. I think they've won 2 out of their last 3 at the SCG. But I think it feels like an absolute last hurrah for the Swans. It's probably even too much of a stretch, even if they do win it. But I think, they'll throw the kitchen sink at the Dockers. And I think, Dockers have been getting the wins without being amazing either against some lesser sides. So we'll see. It will be a good challenge for both teams. A good old litmus test. Last game of the round, we've got Adelaide hosting Melbourne. This one will be at the Adelaide Oval. Adelaide had a pretty comfortable win over the Tigers. That one was at the MCG. About 10 goals or so. And Melbourne, pretty sure they had the bye. They had... they did not have the bye. They went down to the Gold Coast Suns by 19 points. So, apologies. I referred to Gold Coast in the previous game. They're getting confused with the GWS clash they had the week prior. Anyway, without too many semantics, Adelaide at home should be too strong. They've been in really top-notch form, playing top 4 footy, very good in the air, the Crows. And we know how slick their ball movement is, and we know the troubles the D's have in front of the big sticks and just trying to convert clearance to inside 50, clearance to anything decent on the scoreboard and getting solid conversion out of that has been a challenge for a long, long time. It feels like it's been a challenge since 2022, 2023. All right, let's have a look at who I've tipped this week. So I've gone the Western Bulldogs by 45 points. We've gone Collingwood, GWS, Gold Coast, Geelong, Brisbane, Hawthorn, Sydney, and Adelaide to round out round 17. Okay, that's all from me, folks. Hope you enjoyed. Comment who you think's going to win over the weekend. Any upsets you've got in the back of your mind, chuck those down as well. Interested to hear your guys' thoughts on that as well. Give the video a like if you enjoyed watching along, listening in. Appreciate you guys tuning in. Subscribe away if you want to keep up to date with how I'm tracking each and every week and how you're tracking in comparison to that. So thanks again, everyone. Take care. Thanks for listening in. I will catch you on the next video.